beautiful friends. It's Amanda here, and today I can finally be excited about the ColourPop and Twilight collection. As you probably already know, this collection came out in January, and I actually was not here at my house when this PR arrived and when the collection launched. I was away out of town unexpectedly for a funeral, a family emergency. By the time I got back to this, it had already sold out. There was a crazy fast sellout. I'm assuming a lot of bots, a lot of scalpers, and people were very upset, understandably so. But I feel like I couldn't really be excited about this because of the way my personal life and this launch all played out. And I love the Twilight movies. I really want to be excited for this. And now I can be excited for this because this is about to restock. I'm going to tell you exactly what the info from ColourPop says. This is restocking on February 29th. So this Thursday, February 29th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm not allowed to talk about it until the day that I post this video. So I'm obviously filming this ahead of time, but I'm not allowed to announce that until the 26th, which is the day this video is going to go up. They are going to allow codes on the individual products, just none of the bundles, vaults, sets. That's standard for them. They stopped allowing coupon codes to apply to sets a little over a year ago. So you can use my affiliate code Amanda on any individual products, just not bundles or the full collection set. And they're going to limit the purchases to 2 per person. And they also said, don't worry, they are planning to do another restock in the spring, and it's going to be a bigger restock. So please don't yell at me. If you're going to yell at anybody, yell at ColourPop. But if you don't get it this time, they are going to restock again. So everybody, let's take some deep calming breaths. It's going to work out. We're allowed to be excited. This is really fun for me. I love the colors in here. I love the Twilight movies. These are my comfort movies. I'm going to show you all of these pieces up close. We're going to do swatches. I have some comparisons, and I also have lip swatches of the lip products and 2 different eye tutorials for you. So we have a lot to go through, and I am just thrilled. I'm so excited. I'm so excited this is restocking. I'm excited that they've already confirmed a 3rd restock. Yay! Okay, let's get into the close-ups and swatches first.
Let's start first with this shimmering dry oil. This is the mini size. It's priced at $12 US. And as you can see, the special packaging is all on the outer carton. The actual product itself is just their regular packaging. This shade is called Like Diamonds. I love the idea of this. I think it is funny, it's tongue-in-cheek, it's referential to the movie. It's just really, really clever. But as far as the actual product performance, once it's applied to the skin, I think this is not exceptionally different from the other products that Soul Body has offered in the past. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It has the same smell, the same formula, the same everything, but it's also just too similar to shades from the past. In my opinion, I have no problem with it, and conceptually, I think it's one of the more brilliant items, but just in practice, it didn't do too much for me personally. Next, let's move on to the Super Shock highlighters. There are 2 different shades here. These are priced at $10 a piece, and these have special packaging on the outer carton as well as the actual product itself. The little screw top pots are in black instead of the standard white. They have the Twilight logo on the front. These 2 shades are called Meadow and Vampire Skin. You'll get to see me apply these later on in the tutorial portion of the video. I feel almost the same about these actual shades in performance as I do about the Soul Body product. It makes sense. It's perfectly in line with theming from the film, but they're not exceptionally different from other products that have been released from ColourPop in the past. I do wish that we had gotten a blue shifting shade instead of this purpley pink shift in Meadow. It's just really similar to purple highlighters they've done in the past, and I think that a blue shift would have been more in line with the colors in the palette and the lip oils, and it would have just been a lot more different. But again, I don't have a problem with it. And in general, I think what they're really doing is making things that people actually want to use and wear and won't be scared of. So I get it. I just think that they could have pushed it a little bit, especially with a collection like this. Next up, we have some Luxe lip oils. There are 3 different colors, and these are $11 each. I love the packaging on these. I like that they didn't do the same box for each one of the lip oils. Something about those details really draws me in, especially as somebody who touches a lot of makeup. I think it's those little things that really make a difference when it comes to, an $11 lip oil that you could buy a million different places. I love that they went for it with some really different colors, particularly the blue and the black, especially in this formula where the tint doesn't really show up that much on the lips. This is a great place to do it. And I always say in a lot of my reviews, I wish that they had done a weird lip color, and now we're getting it. And I think this is a great place to play with that kind of idea, especially in this very unobtrusive formula like the lip oil that does look very, very sheer on the lips, as you will see because I'm going to lip swatch these. And when you see the lip swatches of these lip oils, what you're seeing is freshly applied, but these are even more wearable in practice than they are indicated in these lip swatches, because like this one, it's a red, it really barely tints the lips. I do have pretty decently pigmented lips naturally, but when you see this really dark blue shade and it's on the lips and it's barely a tint of blue, and once you wear this for 5 minutes, it basically just looks like a shiny lip oil. You don't really see a blue. And for the Team Jacob lip oil, the black one, I really piled it on so that you could see some of that black lip oil kind of peeking on the lips. But even this, with just a quick swipe, wearing it for a couple minutes, it just looks like a shiny, glossy lip, as compared to something like these Fantasy Cosmetica lip oils, which are a lot more tinted. There's certainly a place in the beauty world, especially nowadays, for both a very, very tinted lip oil and a very sheer lip oil. But I think that this is an interesting comparison, because if you really want a red tinted lip oil, Belle's from this collection it's not what you're looking for. She's a lot of things. She's cute, she's nourishing, she's comfortable, but she is not very tinted. Now we're going to talk about the Graphics ink liners. These are $10 a piece, and these have the same box for each one of the liners. This is what I was talking about. I was glad that they did different boxes for the lip oils. I think that was a good opportunity to show some interesting details and movie references. I gotta say, and you may know if you watch this channel, I don't wear a lot of eyeliner. I don't love a lot of eyeliner, and I definitely don't do this brush-on style liquid liner. But even so, I review a lot of makeup. I try a lot of makeup. I swatch a lot of makeup. Even if I'm not wearing a lot of liner, I've swatched a whole heck of a lot of liners, and these are not very pigmented. What you're seeing is one dip in and then a straight line down, one dip in and then a curvy line. That way you could just see how these play out in those two different scenarios. These are not very pigmented. They are not my cup of tea anyway, but these were very disappointing performance-wise, in my opinion. Now let's move on to the final piece. Of course, the most anticipated for me and probably for you too is the Twilight eyeshadow palette. This is priced at $24 US. It is a 15 pan palette. And these are the larger size pans, so same size as Limoncello and Troublemaker had, larger than the old 9-pan palettes like Going Coconuts. This palette comes in an outer sleeve, so the palette itself slides out of the sleeve. Two very different color stories being told from the palette itself and the actual sleeve that it slides out of. The ingredients list is only on the sleeve, so make sure you hang on to that if you have any ingredient concerns or sensitivities. We've got the shade names pictured on the back here, and on the front there's these little iridescent shiny details just reflecting that foggy look. We have an iconic scene from the movie there, no mirror inside this palette. And then when we look at the shadows themselves, all the shade names are references to the film, of course. We have 6 true matte shades in here, and then there's one matte with glitter. That black and silver shade called Forever Young is one of their sequined mattes, and then the rest of the shimmers are all different types of finishes. We do have a couple of their little pearlescent glitters, some more shifty, straight up shimmers, some more foily type of metallics. You'll be able to tell which one's which in the swatches. Absolutely love this color story. It's something so different for ColourPop. They really pulled back on giving us a lot of warm neutrals, giving us a lot of the same type of repetitive color stories that we've seen over the past couple of years. This is really different. It has this grunginess, a lot of cool tones. This Twilight palette is still very heavy on those light little wispy shimmers that they love to overuse. But in this context, I think it makes a lot of sense as far as referencing the colors in the actual film. I love this blue and green in the center, these really shiny, shifty, jewel tone blues and greens. I think the supporting cast of blue and green mattes are really exceptional. Performance wise, I think these are all really great. The only one that comes a little patchy for me is that darker green, but you'll get to see me apply that, and on the eye it does perform really well, so can't complain there. I do want to do a couple of palette comparisons here, especially because I think this palette's going to sell out again and again anytime that it's restocked, and I would love to give you some alternatives if you just don't feel like fighting the crowds. If you have the Odin's Eye, Snow Dream, and Christmas Eve palettes, you can do a pretty interesting version of this palette. It's not a dead-on dupe, particularly that blue and green duo in the middle there that I referenced really liking. It's not the same, but you can do some pretty interesting similar color stories with these Odin's Eye palettes. I also thought that this Baroque and Sage the Day combo would be a fair substitute. Again, we are missing some of that cool toned richness, particularly in the dark greens for this palette comparison. But again, I think this is an interesting combo and pretty darn similar, especially once it's on the eye. I think you're going to be able to pull off a lot of really similar looks. The next combo I think is very interesting. On a whim, I pulled Welcome Foolish Mortals, which was from their Haunted Mansion collab last year, and this little green palette called Super Bloom. I think this may have been a Target release from spring. I don't remember. I have too many ColourPop palettes. But I was able to get a very, very similar result here. And what's interesting is for the blue and green shades, I think you can tell in the swatch here, I just layered 2 different colors together to get pretty close to these shimmery shades that I really enjoy in the Twilight palette. So for the blue shade, I combined these 2 Haunted Mansion shades, and for the green one, I combined these 2 Super Bloom shades. I thought it was pretty decent comparison. Now, this last comparison I'm going to show you was by far my most requested, and I think that this is a very decent stand-in. It's, again, not exactly the same. We are missing a little bit of the depth. We're missing a little bit of the grunginess. Aurora Struck's definitely a bit brighter, whereas Twilight is a little bit murkier. But you know what? I think you could pull off some very similar looks with these as well. Now, let's get into the application demo. I want to show you this shade Meadow in action, and I really like using the small fluff brush from ColourPop for my Super Shock highlighters. If you want a nice soft diffused look on the skin, this really gives you that turn and reveal type of application. And if you want it to be bright and noticeable all the time, then I think finger application's the way to go. But I wanted to show you both of those in case you're wondering how best to use a Super Shock highlighter like this. This one's a little bit glittery for my tastes, at least for day-to-day use, but I like it in the context of a Twilight collection, and it ended up looking cute. I wore it again the next day just to really give it a shot, and I think it looked fine. It's not my go-to. I prefer something with a little bit less individual sparkle particles for my highlighter, just for my taste, but it looks cute. I didn't mind it, and it looks good with the rest of the collection. So, makes sense, even if it's not my favorite. The first eye look is the one that I'm wearing throughout the talking portions of the video, that really easy breezy shimmery green look. It is incredibly simple technique wise. I pretty much only do simple technique wise type of eye looks, but that's what I like to wear. So that's what I'm going to show you. First, I'm using the shade Say It Out Loud in my crease area and just dragging down a little bit of that shadow onto the lower lash line. Then I'm going to start adding a little bit of color with this soft, murky, matte green shade called 17. I have a big fluffy brush from Singe Beauty, and I'm really just layering some of that green into the crease area, but not blending up too far. I just want a hint of green in my transition shade there, but I'm gonna really let the metallic shade bring the green to this look. I just wanted to ease into that more neutral transition shade. Then I'm using this darker matte green shade. This one's called Impossibly Fast. It's the one that I said needed a little bit of help being opaque. And as you can see on the eye here, once you're really packing that on with a brush, it looks very, very opaque and solid. And it ended up layering quite well with the other shadows. I was tempted to go full on with this dark green shade because it's so beautiful, but I knew that the next day I was going to wear this deep smoky blue look. So I was trying to do something a little bit more neutrally, a little bit more my quote unquote everyday type of look. So I had to restrain myself, but this does layer incredibly well. As you're about to see, I'm going to use the shade Lion and Lamb and just using my fingertip to pack that on to the rest of my eyelid and blend out towards that darker green matte shade. Maybe I'm getting a little inspo for St. Patrick's Day because this green look is so simple but so pretty. I love the little bit of shift in that Lion and Lamb shade, and I wanted to get even more of a dynamic shifty look, so I added ice cold to the very very inner part of my actual lid, not the inner corner, and then I just took what was left on my finger and tapped a little bit of that sparkle over the center of the green on my lid and a little peak of that right at the lower lash line towards the inner corner as well to give just a little hint of a highlight there. Then I curled my lashes, added this L'Oreal Panorama mascara, and that's it. That's my finished look. It only took me a few minutes. This has an ease about it. It's easy to apply. It looks and feels very simple because it is, but that's what I like. That's what feels comfortable to me. I love having this really rich emerald foresty green pop of color, but doing it in a way that feels very pared down, and it's not neutral, but it's also just not very in your face as far as color goes either. That's why I love green. It's one of those colors that's just like a borderline. It's almost wants to be a neutral. It feels like a neutral sometimes. And I'm definitely going to wear this same look again because I just felt very much myself in it. Now I'm going to get well out of my comfort zone with a deep, vampy, smoky, very blue, very eyeliner, very deep and dark type of look. I love to play. I love to switch it up. I love to mix shades together. And that's what I'm doing for my transition shade here. I'm taking the two neutrals in the palette and blending them together. I did want a little bit darker, more smoky starting point since I know that's the end point that I'm working towards. So I combined Say It Out Loud and Bella first, just really sloppily packed that into the crease area. And then I used this dusty blue shade. It's almost like a denim blue. And I just really quickly swept that over top to bring that hint of blue, especially in the outer corner there. But I wasn't being very precise at all. I'm going for a really messy, smudgy, smoky, like villain type of eye look. And I just whacked a little bit of this blue right on top of the neutrals. And I came out with this bluish gray color that I really love and I think really suits the look that I am going for. Now I'm going to get crazy and I'm going to use this Forever Young shade just with my fingertip and pack that all over my lid. I want a nice dark base because I'm going to layer the blue shimmer on top and I want the result to be very deep and shifty, and having a nice dark base color down first is going to really seal the deal with that type of look. Now I'm mixing two of the blue mattes and I'm just reiterating that blue smokiness in the crease area before I use this shade, the Cullens, again just on my fingertip, and I'm going right over top that matte with sparkle black and silver shade. This gives the finished look so much more of a dynamic appearance than either one of these shadows would have on their own. And I am very thankful that these shadows layer well because I just kept piling them on. I was going more shiny, more glittery, more colors, more depth. And it was fun, the look held up well to all of my whims, so I appreciate that. And this was with a dry brush, by the way. I just really concentrated some of that shimmer right in the middle to give a little bit of a pop there. And then I used the Vampire Skin highlighter to bring some of that silver shiftiness to the inner corner and the very outer part of my brow bone. Then I used the Ventura Boulevard liner in my lower lash line, curled my lashes, added the L'Oreal Panorama mascara, and that's my finished look. I actually love the way this turned out. It is so far outside of the norm for me. I don't do a lot of glittery. I don't do a lot of liners. I don't do a lot of blue. I don't do a lot of heavy, dark. Although I've been going more for that lately, I'm finding that fun to explore that type of look. Even though this is so far outside of the norm for me, I absolutely love the way this turned out. I could not stop staring at my eye makeup all day. I was very tempted to add some half lashes to this because I think this look could carry it off, but I really didn't want to do too much. I didn't want to throw everything at the wall, and I think this ended up still looking and feeling like a me look, but just expressed in a different way. So I'm endlessly happy with the looks I've been getting from this Twilight palette.
Probably not a surprise, but my personal top pick from this collection is the eyeshadow palette. Silver and green are two of my favorite eyeshadow colors. I love these really soft, very neutral neutrals. I even like the blues that are in here and how they play with the silvers. Absolute top pick for me is the palette. Out of the lip oils, the one called Bells is my favorite. That's the one that I'm wearing throughout the talking portions of this video. But I think all of this stuff is great. It fits the movie. I love the Twilight movies, particularly the first one. So I'm here for it. I'm thrilled. I also tried to buy the full collection when it came out because, like I said, I wasn't home. I didn't have this and I didn't know if it was here, if I got it. I knew I wanted to review it. Plus, my niece loves Twilight, so I knew that I wanted to share some pieces with her too. So I'm excited that I have another chance because I could not get her the palette, and I really want to get this eyeshadow palette for her. This is my personal favorite piece. Everything's cool. I'm excited for everything. I love this. I would love to hear what you think about this collection. Are you interested? Did you manage to snag at the first round? Are you waiting for these restocks? I always love to hear what you think about things too, so make sure you leave all your thoughts down in the comments below. Please remember to speak to me and each other with kindness. You guys are really good about that, so I appreciate it. I appreciate you, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. I was just outside of the realm of Twilight. The books came out when I was already in my 20s. I was already in college. I was not really in the Twilight books scene at all. I do think that it was primarily like younger people, not exclusively. You can read whatever you want, you can like whatever you want. It wasn't in my orbit at the time. I did read the books eventually when I was much older, and I actually didn't really like them that much. I'm gonna be honest with you, I was getting very frustrated. The combination of just wanting to like shake Bella and just be like, no, and also a lot of editing errors in the books were just really frustrating to me. So I didn't really enjoy the books, but the movies, I love the movies. The absolute campiness, I'm fully bought in. I love them. I have watched them, especially the first one, so many times. It always makes me feel better. I love it. Unironically, the camp and story to fantasy, I love it. When I saw that the inspiration for this collection was so heavily geared towards the movies and not the books, I'm thrilled. I love it. I love it. I don't even care. I'm almost 40 years old and I will just be watching these movies when I'm sad, and I feel literally zero shame. Zero. I also do not want to talk about which team I'm on because it's the less popular answer. And I just want to put out there, I am married to a total Jacob. He thinks he's an Edward, but he's a total Jacob, and he's the best. He's always warm, incredibly loyal. He's very strong. He would never bail on me for months at a time. Just saying, he would not stalk me in my childhood bedroom. And my dad has always liked him from the very beginning, so he's a total Jacob. And look, I get it. Real life Robert Pattinson, I am totally on board with. He seems like he's obsessed with his partner. I don't know if they're married or not. And he's super talented. He takes like really cool acting roles. I think he's mega handsome. I am buying it. I am buying what Robert Pattinson is selling. It's it's the Edward versus Jacob that, we probably differ on. I did the most here, and I love it. It looks so good, doesn't it? Am I delusional? If I am, just let me be delusional. I feel like really dark, vampy eyeshadow has kind of been more in my wheelhouse lately, and I think it just does suit me, and it makes me have a little bit of that like vibe. You know what I mean? Love that for me. I don't even know who I am. Who am I? I'm a multifaceted woman. That's who I am. See you later. This is the skin of a killer Bella. The internet's like the Wild West right now, though, so I mean, it always has been, but I think it's getting worse. Be careful out there. I'm so excited. You cannot sit here and tell me that this movie is not campy. They are in baseball uniforms, vampires in full baseball uniforms playing baseball during a thunderstorm. That is brilliant. I love it so much. The absolute like unseriousness of that just fills me with joy. That's why this is my comfort movie. That is so funny. That scene when she walks in front of the fan when she's coming into the science classroom, Edward, has a meltdown, I laugh every time. It's so funny. It's so fun. I'm not laughing at it like I'm making fun of it. It's fun. I enjoy it. Lean into the camp. It's hilarious. It's brilliant. It's what I need. I'm gonna go watch it. I'm gonna go watch it. I made my husband watch the first one with me. He- He's a really good sport. He did not enjoy it as much as I do, but that's okay. All right. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. I just appreciate you and I'm happy you're here. I hope that you're just having as much carefree fun with this Twilight collection as I am. Remember that it will restock if you miss out on it again. It's gonna be okay. I promise they want to sell it to you. I promise they want to take your money. They want you to send it directly to them. So it's gonna work out. And you know what? I'm here for you. And I hope that you have a fantastic day. And if you don't have a fantastic day, I hope you have just an passably okay day. I would take that too. Why are you texting me so much? I love each and every one of your little beautiful shining like diamonds faces. And I will see you real soon in my next video. Okay, I love your face. Bye.